It's Bristol, baby. There's no better place to raise on racing than these concrete high banks. But high banks mean high speed. Danger lurks for the K&N Pro Series drivers in the Coliseum. Bristol is on every driver's bucket list, and whether you've been here 3 times like Ruben Garcia, or same for Spencer Davis, who has a lot of experience here, or the first time for Sam Mayer and Tanner Gray, you're gonna love driving and racing and bumping at Bristol this afternoon. Welcome everyone to the Zombie Auto 150 from the Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. I'm Dave Burns. Derek Perniciglio is on pit road this afternoon. And Monster Energy Series Cup driver Landon Castle is with me here in the booth. Landon, when did Bristol hit your radar as a young driver?
It was always on my radar as a young driver. This place is so unique. These drivers are going to have a sensation of speed that they've never experienced before if they've never been to Bristol.
Did any of them come to you for advice? Because you've been on the track already this weekend.
I did get a chance to talk to Rafael Lessard. This is his first time in a K&N car at Bristol, and he was asking about the traction compound. I told him he needs to keep the car loose on the bottom.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Keeping an eye on the points, Derek Kraus won the race at New Smyrna. That gave him the points lead, but he's not running this series the entire season. Neither is McReynolds, so you really have to start looking at Colin Garrett.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're thinking of Colin Garrett and Sam Mayer as the 2 points leaders here, and they're tied. And Sam is on the front row. Colin is 6 rows back, starting 12th.
Okay, Sam, what's it feel like to be 15 years old and on pole at Bristol?
Words can't even describe how I'm feeling right now. I'm just so excited. I just want to go out and do my best and try to go out and win this thing. John Hunter came in and talked to me while I was in the car waiting to come down here, and he said the bottom's not really the best place to be unless you're really like right down by the apron. So probably going to have to go to the top on the initial start and just hopefully the top rolls like in the Xfinity race, and hopefully we can go do it.
John Hunter is Nemechek, his GMS teammate in the Xfinity Series, who just had a top 5.
Yeah, and I just saw John running this Xfinity race just a few minutes ago, and he got that top working, so I could see where he would pass that advice along.
Let's hear from Derek down on pit lane.
Dave, as we get ready to come to the green, yesterday, all of the cars in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series practiced with the PJ1 on the racetrack, and a lot of the guys were running fast around the bottom. They really didn't move up the racetrack. But today, they just ran the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. They wore a lot of that PJ1 away, plus they laid down a lot of Goodyear rubber where the K&N cars run on General Tire rubber. So they really don't know what's going to happen when this race goes green. A lot of guys think that they're going to be running the bottom of the racetrack in the beginning, but a lot of the competitors and the crew chiefs think the groove is going to widen out, and you're going to see drivers venturing up to the top line of the racetrack.
I agree with him on thinking that the groove is going to widen out, but it's just so hard to resist that 4 feet of PJ1 traction compound. I just finished happy hour a couple hours ago in my Cup car, and I'm the fastest on the bottom, but after about 50 laps on tires, I could move up to the top. So it really just depends on how good these drivers are able to rubber in the top groove. But I expect to see him on the bottom at the start of the race for sure.
You saw in the back there on the outside of row 9, Haley Deegan had an engine failure at the end of final practice. They replaced the motor. She did not take a qualifying time, so we'll watch her progress throughout the day. Meanwhile, Sam Mayer on pole and charging ahead with Chase Cabry coming from the outside of row 2 to take second.
Obviously choosing the top groove so he can keep his momentum up, which is going to be important whichever groove he chooses on a restart.
Tanner Gray loose off of 4, and behind him, more spinning and a huge crash on lap 1.
Wow, how often do we see a lap 1 crash here at Bristol? These cars are so loose to start the race.
Well, and you had said, you gave Lessard the advice, hey, keep it loose if you're going to stay in the PJ1, but that was really loose for the 3rd place car of Tanner Gray, who didn't get a good start, and then behind him, stacking up.
Yeah, and it just starts here, just getting loose off of turn 4. I mean, that's cold tires, loose race cars, setting your car up for the long run.
Oh, huge wreck, and 3 DGR cars sort of involved there. Riley Herbst is with Derek.
Dave, Landon, Riley Herbst was involved in that opening lap wreck in the number 17 machine. Can you tell us what happened?
No, not really. I was coming out here to ask my team what happened. I was just going along straight. Next thing I knew, I was in the inside barrier. It just really sucks because I had a really fast Monster Energy Toyota Camry with the DGR Crosley group, and I really thought we had a shot at the win here today, and it sucks we didn't even get 1 lap in.
Tough break for Riley Herbst. His day is over before it begins.
Now, here we look at it again. Herbst is in the black 17, and on the outside is Spencer Davis. He really just had it kind of pushed up off the corner there.
Yeah, and it kind of started with Tanner Gray getting loose in front of him and causing a little bit of a reaction from these three drivers.
Spencer Davis got away clean. Derek is with Natalie Decker.
Dave, Natalie Decker was also involved in the DGR racing entry, and unfortunately, you're out early. Can you tell us what happened? We asked Riley Herbst, and he thought he got hit from behind.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just saw Riley get sideways, and my spotter said check up, and I tried to check up, and my brake pedal fell off. It just broke, so it really sucked. I think I could have missed that if that didn't happen, and it would have been a little bit different outcome, but, you know, bad luck. It's going to happen.
That's an upsetting start for Natalie Decker, who is going to make her only K&N start this season.
Wow, and landed the brake pedal. Holy cow.
Yeah, that sounds like some bad luck or bad timing. I don't know, sometimes when you see an accident in front of you, push the pedal and push everything so hard, it might have been on its way to breaking anyways.
Ruben Garcia's okay. 3 very fast cars taken out in a lap 1 wreck. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. An exciting but halting start to the K&N Pro Series race from Bristol, the Zombie Auto 150. A lap 1 crash took out 3 very fast cars. Sam Mayer in the dark 21 is the restart leader on the outside. Chase Cabry in the white number 4 on the inside.
There he is, taking that outside starting lane again.
Cabry got a good jump on the inside. Drew Dollar is the 3rd car in line there in the 54.
And that inside lane is good. I mean, you have the traction compound on the very bottom, so if you make sure you hit it on the start, you've got a ton of grip on the bottom. You can really whip around the corner.
Race number 2 in the 2019 season for the K&N Pro Series East. The 1 is Max McLaughlin. The 99, that's Brittany Zamora. The 18 on the outside, championship contender Colin Garrett. Good battle here between the 22 of Oakley and the 24 of Diaz. And there's Rafael Lassard in the 50.
We talked about this outside groove coming in later in the race. We're 16 laps into it, and they're exploring all areas of the racetrack here at Bristol.
Yeah, room to race, right? There, now down to the inside is Haley Deegan. Remember, engine failure at the end of practice on Friday. Did not get a qualifying time, started deep in the field, and Haley's black 19 now making her way through.
Yeah, and Haley always has a fast car, but you can really see how she's taken advantage of that traction compound on the bottom and really closes the gap on those cars that are running the top groove. It's still going to take a little while for the top to rubber in for these drivers.
Sam Mayer starting to stretch it. Oh, trouble out of turn 4. That's Brandon Oakley spinning in the 22 car, now coming to the start-finish line, and that'll bring out the 2nd caution of the afternoon.
Oh, that's got to be tough luck for Brandon here. He is top 5 in practice, felt like he had good speed. Caught the wall a little in his mock qualifying run and just hasn't told me his car hadn't felt the same since.
That's not a line to explore quite yet, I would say.
Yeah, you need to kind of diamond and drive off the bottom, and Brandon just got up into the loose stuff there. It's not a lot of grip when you can hear the rocks and the rubber up underneath the car.
Well, in practice for your Cup car, did you ever venture up there or accidentally or on purpose?
I did on purpose at the very end of practice, and
okay.
You can feel where the track is getting dirty, and you got to be a little extra careful when you get into the dirty stuff. But once you clean it off, there's some more grip.
Oakley is back in the field, didn't hit anything or anyone, so the 22's okay. The 21 of Sam Mayer continues to pace the field. He's led every lap so far. That's that greenish-colored car on the outside. Chase Cabry in the 4 to the inside. Restart at Bristol.
Little better start for Cabry here on the inside.
I'll say, can you get any grip in the PJ1? A little more.
But man, Sam Mayer hangs it out there on the outside on these restarts. You can see he's on the gas off the corner off of 2, and is just able to clear Chase and get back to the bottom. Max McLaughlin here exploring the high line.
Yep, got out just a little bit further maybe than you want to. There's McReynolds in the 74. Drew Dollar has slipped back a little bit, was running 3rd earlier. There's a 16 of Derek Kraus, that blue and gold car, winner of the first race for the East Series at New Smyrna.
It was just a little bit looser when you get outside of the black traction compound on the bottom lane. So you can see it in these drivers. Once they get out of that bottom groove, they're just a little bit freer and the cars wiggle more.
Checked and released from the care center is Ruben Garcia. He is with Derek now.
Ruben Garcia suffered the worst damage out of all the cars that were involved in that altercation out there. Can you tell us from your point of view what happened?
Yeah, well, it's really hard because I don't know if all of the drivers will understand that we have to race 150 laps, and they were wrecking before we got back to the start-finish line. The 15 was completely sideways, the 17 was completely sideways, and I was underneath him. He just drove into me and sent me to the inside wall. It's a shame because we really had a strong car. Rep Racing brought me a really, really fast car. We were confident about this race. It was one of those races we circle on the calendar, so it's a shame that it ended up in the first lap.
It's a tough break for Ruben Garcia. His day is done, but next week he'll go over to Europe and race in Spain in Valencia in the NASCAR Euro Series.
It's a full schedule for Ruben this year.
Sure.
Just won in Mexico and racing in the K&N Series full-time and going to Europe. So bad points day. That's a tough points day for him because Sam Mayer right now is leading the race, and Ruben's going to end up outside the top 15.
Yep, it has been a good track for him. A couple of top 10s here for Garcia, now out of the race. There's Max McLaughlin. Talked about in his pre-season notes how his dirt track sponsors got together and helped put together this ride for him, and Mohawk is one of those, big construction company. Good to see them on board this weekend. Here's Mason Diaz. You might remember us talking about his dad running a little racetrack out in Kenly, North Carolina. It's an oval, it's high banked, it's, you know, close to a half mile, but it's nothing like Bristol.
I've made a half a lap at Kenly in my lifetime. I raced a Legends car there, blew the engine and backed it into the wall, and that was it.
Wow, nice save there by Mason Diaz. Getting his first ride here at the last great Coliseum. Sam Mayer picking him up and putting him down here at Bristol. The 21 car is fast, but race has only just begun. Under green at Bristol Motor Speedway, the Zombie Auto 150 nearing its first break. Landon Castle and Dave Burns with you here. Derek Pernasiglio on pit road. 2 breaks today, Landon, and they get 1 set of tires to choose when to use it. What do you think strategy-wise?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it just depends on where you're at and how your car's driving. I know we're watching Brandon McReynolds here. He told me that he wants to save his tires for the second break.
Okay, that black and orange 74 of McReynolds running up front, trying to chase down this guy, 15-year-old Sam Mayer from Franklin, Wisconsin, a driver's edge development driver. That's a GMS Racing and Junior Motorsports compilation to give drivers lots of experience. Sam will run full-time in this series, plus some ARCA and Truck Series races. Speaking of experience, McReynolds running 5th in that 74. Looking good right now, Derek.
Pretty solid run for the number 74 of Brandon McReynolds. He started 12th at the drop of the green, but after we spoke, he thinks he left a little bit on the table and the car had a little more in qualifying. They said they struggled a little bit all weekend. The car was jumping back and forth between tight and loose, but they did get it working well on the bottom line of the track, and they think if they just roll the bottom and work the apron, they think that they can keep ahead and come home with a really strong finish this afternoon in that number 74 machine. And also another little fact about Brandon McReynolds, at just 27 years old, Dave, he is the second oldest driver in the field.
Oh, man, that makes me feel old.
Yeah, well, yeah, heck yeah. Chuck Buchanan taking the cake on the age here this weekend. But yeah, Brandon at 27, a lot of experience in this series.
Nice little battle here with Rafael Lessard and Tanner Gray.
Yeah, I was surprised Lessard didn't qualify better. He's been here in a late model, but and he knows how to use the bumper at Bristol.
Well, I think if you, as the shot kind of opens up here, you'll see that the leader is coming right up on behind this group of cars, and there's only a few laps to go until the break, so they're in a bit of a rush.
That's right. Don't want to get lapped by the leader and trying to get by Tanner Gray. Lessard continues to use the bumper. Gray holds his ground. Right behind them, the 20 of Anthony Sergi trying to find his way through. Because as Landon mentioned, leader Sam Mayer is right behind this group.
And Rafael in that 50 car, all he's trying to do is just get the 15 off of the traction compound, and so he slips up a little bit. He's only got about 6 car lengths back to the leader, though. Just needs to hold on for a couple more laps.
Tanner stuck to the PJ1. Rafael is stuck to the bumper of Tanner. There they are. There's leader Sam Mayer on the right side. And man, oh man, Gray is not giving up, though. He's waiting for that caution from NASCAR. And probably about this lap, 150-lap race.
Yep.
2 breaks.
If I'm Sam Mayer, I'm going to back off a little bit right now and say, hey, I'm not going to mess with these guys. I'm going to wait till the break and get my tires.
Good call, although Gray got moved out of the way, and he will go a lap down to Mayer as the caution comes out for break number 1. I guess if you're Tanner, you finally had to say, okay, I'm not going to get wrecked for this.
Yeah, and he will get the free pass from NASCAR, so that's not so bad.
Yep, really good paying attention move by the DJR Crosley team. First break, Sam Mayer is your leader at Bristol.
Hi, I'm Brandon McReynolds, driver of the number 74 IGA Chevrolet in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. Yeah, the thing I like about the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East especially is just, you don't need a ton of money to come run this series, so it's affordable for a small team like us. It gives us an opportunity to come out here and compete and try to race with these guys that are spending a lot of money and that have a lot of success even on Fridays during the Truck Series races. For me as a driver, it's always big to win at places that my dad's won at, and obviously, like you said, winning in Talladega, that was really cool. But anytime you can go and win where your pops has won, that means a lot to the whole family. I'm Brandon McReynolds, and that's your NASCAR driver profile.
Talked about affordable, 1 car in that shop, 1.
That's a hard-working crew. Talk about winning where his pops has won. His pops has won just about every racetrack. So if you get a win anywhere, Brandon, you've done it.
Like to add Bristol to that today. He's going to have to compete with that fast 21 car, Sam Mayer, who again gets a great leap at the restart. All the leaders came down pit road, put on their set of tires that they're allowed to do. So that second break, Landon, no tires to put on the car, unless, of course, you want to put on your originals, but you don't have a fresh set to put on.
Yeah, and Brandon McReynolds putting his tires on, that's not what he told me his plan was. He was going to save those tires, but he actually drove up to 4th, so he must have just wanted to make a little adjustment on his car, stay on equal tires with the leaders.
Haley Deegan restarted in the back of the pack again, Derek. Do you know why?
During that break, Haley Deegan had to come back down pit road from loose lug nuts on the tire on her number 19 machine. She had to go back to the rear of the field after making her way into the top 10. A tough break for her. We're going to keep an eye on her as she has a very fast car this weekend. She's running a full K&N West schedule and Select East races this year. She was 3rd fastest in practice yesterday, but blew an engine, which relegated her to starting at the rear of the field. She finished 16th in the season opener, but the big credit to Haley Deegan this year was winning the West Series opener on the dirt at the dirt track at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things there in Derek's report, but loose lug nuts on a non-live pit stop, they get 5 minutes, Landon, and they can do basically everything they need to do. They retorque those lug nuts. How can that happen?
I think it just starts with a chaotic weekend for the 19 team altogether. I mean, an engine change, you can really just end up overlooking things when your weekend ends up with that much drama.
Something you don't want in racing unless it's you taking the lead at Bristol. And Chase Cabry would love to do that, the 22-year-old from Tampa, trying to chase down the 15-year-old from Wisconsin. Cabry said before the outset of this year, this is a pivotal year for him. He's got to make things happen. His 3rd year as a Rev Racing driver. Meanwhile, McReynolds comfortably in the top 5. Those fresh General tires on his car.
And we got Max McLaughlin again. He is committed to that middle to high groove, and I'm okay with it. I'm here for it, man. I want to see it come in. I think that's where the passing is really going to happen. And Colin Garrett here just hooking the bottom. He's doing a really good job of keeping his left side tires where the traction compound is the freshest.
Down low he goes
and
again.
A little free.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. That's when someone's on the outside of you that tight, it really kind of sucks the air off the car. Even at a short track like Bristol, you can get pretty loose underneath somebody.
Mason Diaz in the white 24, challenged by Brittany Zamora.
Contact is another thing that makes you loose when someone gets into your left rear quarter panel.
Good save by Diaz, and now Deegan will try to work her black number 19 underneath. Right behind them, there's Lassard.
We've seen Diaz has just been free all day long, and I think putting on fresh tires here and having a restart really only perpetuates that issue until your pressures come up. You see him stuck on the outside line, and the car's really wiggling a lot.
Keeping it under control so far as the leader. Wow, was that him again?
Yeah, that's Diaz.
That
He's been fighting
Diaz.
it. He's turning right more than he's turning left, it seems like.
Car control day for Mason Diaz, and they'll have one more break on or about lap 100 to take care of that 24 car. Anthony Sergi in the black 20 behind him wondering how close he should get.
If I'm his spotter, though, I want to keep him patient. I want him to get his pressures built up, knowing that we have to go 100 laps on these tires, and it's gonna tighten up as the track builds up rubber. So being loose right now is not such a horrible thing.
That's the gap, first to second, Mayer to Cabry. Let's hear from Derek with more, and the driver of the 30, Spencer Davis.
We've seen Spencer Davis compete in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series before. We've even seen him compete in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series, driving for teams like KBM and even for his own family team. But now this year, he's hooked up with Rhett Jones Racing and Mark Rhett, the crew chief, who is turning the wrenches on that car. They finished 7th in the season opener at New Smyrna Speedway, and they will compete full-time in 2019 for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series Championship.
Yeah, that's a good deal. That was not a known quantity before the season started, and Mark and Spencer got together and decided, hey, we'll go for the championship, we'll get the funding, and it's happening.
Yeah, and Spencer's a young driver, but he's got some veteran tendencies to him. He's got a lot of laps around these tracks.
So Davis in that 30 being challenged up in the top 5. Meanwhile, back here, Zamora, Deegan, and Lessard battling at Bristol.
Lessard just trying to get to the outside quarter panel of his teammate. And looks like he's going to be able to get to the inside and take advantage of this traction compound on the bottom.
You see the Napa sponsorship there. Ooh. Bang. Hang on to it, Haley. Thank you very much.
A bump and run happens at Bristol every once in a while.
That's another Bill McAnally car here this weekend. Let's see if Haley returns the favor. And she won't be able to get to him. Right now, Lessard's car a little bit better, as Deegan will fall back to 11th.
It seems like the whole field is a lot freer after this set of tires.
And again, going back to on the track this weekend, anything of that makes sense to you with the PJ1 or even as laps grind on in a race?
It definitely does. I mean, I want my car to be as loose as possible to start the race at Bristol because it always rubbers up and gets tighter. So I think these drivers putting on their last set of tires knowing they're going to have to go 100 laps on them, they're going to have to drive it loose for the first 30 or 40 laps so that the car is better and neutral for that final segment.
Coming up on lap traffic now, that's Buchanan in the black. 87, Zamora has to woe it down a little bit. Lessard gets by. Here comes Deegan. There's contact. She saves it. And look at Mason Diaz. Thank you very much. Sometimes at Bristol, you just got to take it, right, Landon?
Yeah, you got to use those lap cars as a pick.
That certainly happened there. Marty Lindley on the pit box for Sam Mayer. He's seeing a good day so far for the 21. Gorgeous afternoon at Bristol Motor Speedway. The fans have seen an Xfinity race this afternoon, and now the K&N Pro Series on track for their second race of the 2019 season. This was lap 1, and not the way you want the day to start. GGR Crosley cars involved and out of the race. Ruben Garcia as well gone. Brandon Oakley's spin was safe enough to keep him in the event, and the 21 of Sam Mayer, well, he's led every lap so far. That's domination at Bristol.
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of action with these McAnally cars. They're really beating on each other.
Bill's down in the pit area going, okay, y'all. Yeah. Take it easy there. Haley Deegan.
Haley Deegan has only had to pass probably 100 cars today as she's gone to the back and moved back up to the front.
Oh, Tanner Gray with a little tap there to Zamora as well.
Right in front of the leader, too.
See, again, trying to stay on the lead lap, and Tanner Gray was in this position before.
Exactly.
His day started with contact on that opening lap melee. And Deegan, you mentioned going to the back twice. She started in the rear, no qualifying time, engine change, and then had a loose wheel on the untimed pit stops. They had to come back in and make sure they had tightened down.
That's where, as a driver, you just have to reset yourself and calm down, take a deep breath, and get back and focused on a long-term plan and not get hung up with the highs and lows.
Battle for the lead happening behind the last lead lap cars, the 99 of Zamora and the 15 of Gray. Sam Mayer now has Chase Cabry in the 4 right on his bumper.
You know, the bottom groove is still the preferred groove, and you can tell because the leader who has really caught these guys, he's so much faster than the field, he's caught these guys, and he still wants the bottom to be able to pass them. So it's still, you still have to be down on that traction compound. He's not comfortable enough to go up to the top.
Saw Cabry get pinched off there by Tanner Gray, so lost a little bit of ground to the leader. This is the battle for 7th.
These two cars have been tied together all race long.
Right?
Brandon McReynolds is really, I think he's made some good adjustments since that second segment. You know, they made a shock change after qualifying, and he felt like that was, out of all the struggles they've had all weekend, that was made the biggest difference to his car. So it just opened up that left rear shock a little bit, helps the tire follow the concrete surface, gives it a little bit more grip, and it's working for him.
McReynolds takes fourth from Davis. Meanwhile, Colin Garrett now getting pressure from Rafael Lessard in the red 50.
I feel like Lessard has had himself in the middle of something all day long in his car. He told me he had been struggling with a tight race car, which can really be slow here at Bristol if you just can't get the front to turn. And it seems like he's had to overachieve with what he's got. Like I said, you see him in the middle of something almost all the time, right underneath someone's bumper, making the most of it.
Well, this is the first time today that the 19 has looked really slow. Mayer, now the leader, has caught up with Hailie Deegan and is trying to put her a lap down. 89 laps, working lap 90 of 150. There will be another break around lap 100.
These 9 or 10 laps are going to go by really fast. So for these cars that are expecting to get lapped, you're just trying to put yourself in a position to be right in front of the leader or be the first car one lap down.
Yikes, nice save, Max. But that's going to put him closer to Sam Mayer, who's right there.
A little dirt experience helped him save that one, I think.
I think you're right. Derek Kraus, meanwhile, getting by Spencer Davis. That's for fifth. Davis going the wrong way at the end of segment 2.
Yeah, he just got taken down by Brandon McReynolds here and that 16 car as well.
All right, here's Deegan now trying to get by McLaughlin before she gets passed by leader Mayer. And I think, again, they're probably preaching to Sam, let's be smart here, right?
Yeah, I mean, these are young drivers. They got to race smart. They got to take care of their equipment. But if I'm Hailie Deegan, I'm going to race the leader harder right now than ever because I do not want him to not only pass me, but pass the car in front of me because that would take me out of the position to get the lucky dog.
Action all over the high-banked half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway. And McLaughlin, again, a little crazy off of turn 4 there, but keeps control.
So if you're Sam Mayer, do you have enough of a cushion where you just let the lap cars work it out? I think he wants to get around these guys.
Well, and Hailie certainly doesn't want to be the last car, and she's going to put a little bumper there, and into the wall goes the one of Max. And he corrects it, but just a little damage there on the one, as now Mayer's going to go ahead and try to put Hailie Deegan off the lead lap.
Yeah, she's driving her heart out right now. You can tell she does not want to go a lap down.
And you mentioned, is there a big enough gap for Mayer? Yes. Cabri is behind, but by quite a bit, so Mayer's got room to either relax or move through, and he's going to go ahead and put Hailie a lap down. Every lap led here at Bristol so far today for Sam Mayer. What does the crew chief want to do at this break?
I don't know. I mean, I think right now it's just a matter of keeping up with the racetrack. So your driver might be saying his car's perfect, but he's going to have to make some adjustment, maybe even just a slight air pressure adjustment to keep up with where the racetrack's going. If he doesn't think the racetrack's going to change, then maybe there is no changes at all.
Derek Kraus in the 16, running well today. Brittany Zamora was a lap down there as he went by. Good battle for third here. Drew Dollar and Brandon McReynolds.
Brandon's just inching his way forward.
Let's get more on Dollar from Derek.
Pretty solid run for third place competitor Andrew Dollar in the number 54. He was second and fastest in practice yesterday, but ended up qualifying 9th. He's now made his way up to the podium. He's basically fresh out of legend cars. He won the national championship last year and then hopped into full-bodied cars. It's been a blast, he says, so far for him. He only has a handful of races in late models. A couple of weeks ago, he finished 7th at Southern National Speedway, driving for David Gilliland's late model team. So he's pretty much new to the full-bodied stock car world, but he's taking to it like a fish to water. He's having a really strong run here this afternoon for DGR.
I can relate to going straight from Legends cars to a full-body car like that. I did the same thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Legends cars are hard to drive. They've got a lot of horsepower. They're really slick. It's a pretty good transition. He's in good equipment, too.
Drew looking good, and the race looking good for its second break of the afternoon. NASCAR putting out the caution here. Race run in 3 segments, 2 opportunities to work on your race car, 1 fresh set of tires available. Most of the leaders took those on the first break. Wonder what they'll do this time. More racing when we come back to the Bristol Motor Speedway. 150 laps of racing at Bristol Motor Speedway nearing its conclusion after the second race break for the K&N Pro Series drivers. They all took their tires on the first one, so this was just for adjustments. Let's see how well they did. Chase Cabry in the 4, Sam Mayer in the 21, the front row back under green at Bristol. And Rick Reynolds in that black and orange 74 with a nice start.
Cabry knows this is a shot. A little contact for the lead.
Yeah, if he doesn't get him now, Sam ran away the first several restarts.
It seemed like he closed the gap that last segment, but oh man, this restart, it's just hard to beat him from the outside. He carries so much momentum.
Now Sam's got the preferred position again, and Cabry now, what does he do? I mean, a little tire saving here. They're already worn.
Yeah, well, they had a loose car all weekend long, so that would make me think that he's set up for this long run in the third segment with already 50 laps on his tires, so hopefully it can come in for him. Same with that 74 car, who's really worked his way up through the field. He's in third now.
Yep, being challenged by Drew Dollar from the DGR Crosley camp. You mentioned, loose race cars. One of those we've seen today for sure has been the one of Max McLaughlin. A couple of nice saves for him off of the corner, and a good look at car control from the driver of the one. Derek has more on him.
Well, Dave, one of the cars that we're keeping an eye on right now is that #1 machine of Max McLaughlin. This is the Hattori Racing Enterprises entry that won the NASCAR Truck Series Championship last year with Brett Moffitt driving. But this is Max McLaughlin, the son of Magic Shoes Mike McLaughlin. He started his career driving in outlaw karts, winning championships at Millbridge Speedway. He's raced UMP Modified, and he's also raced Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds, where he actually won a preliminary race at Super Dirt Week 2 years ago. This year, like we said, he's driving for HRE, and he's working with Mike Gricci, who also helped his father, Magic Shoes Mike McLaughlin, in his modified career and in his Xfinity Series career. So now Mike Gricci helping the next generation of McLaughlin come along.
So important for these young drivers to have veteran help with them, isn't it?
Yeah, it helps with that veteran help. Is your dad who's been around and knows what he's doing. Definitely could just create a new model for your kids and be able to pass along what you learned to them.
Now, he hasn't raced here before, Landon, but said he did, quote, quite a bit of iRacing before he came here. How much help these days is that?
Absolutely a lot of help, especially on a track that you've never been to. Sometimes a car doesn't always feel the same, but the tracks on iRacing are so realistic that I've used it to prepare a lot.
Haley Deegan's on pit road. Derek, what's going on?
Haley Deegan on pit road in the #19 machine. Unfortunately, she said that the engine was starting to run hot. She got into the back. Someone crushed up the front air dam a little bit, probably blocked off the airflow getting to the radiator. That's why the engine started running a little hot for her.
It's been a tough weekend for that driver.
Yeah, that's kind of the direction her weekend was headed. Hate to see it end that way, but man, you want to use that front bumper at Bristol to your advantage, and you can see it just got used up a little too much and caused some overheating.
This is the battle for fifth. Her teammate, Derek Kraus, in the 16, challenged by Colin Garrett, and Spencer Davis is right there. Good racing in the top 5. Something you always expect at Bristol, and something the crowd certainly got back in 2014 when the series visited here. On the pole that day was Ben Rhodes. Got the jump on the field by taking that outside line. This is Cale Conley in the 47 finding the wall, and then the 11 of Lee Polium getting into Jerry Dawson off the corner there. The 71, Eddie McDonald muscles his way by Ben Rhodes and would have to hold him off on a late race restart. Eddie McDonald went to victory lane at the last great Coliseum, and it was the last of his 7 career victories in the series. That was a great day for McDonald. Well, any day's a great day when you can get to victory lane at Bristol.
We saw a lot of highline racing back in the day. That was pre-traction compound.
Aha. What have we seen today?
Oh, we've seen some low-line racing where the traction compound is at. So it just proves how dynamic of a racetrack Bristol can be. And that's what I love about traction compound. It changes with the temperature, the amount of grip that it has, and then the rubber builds up and it can lose some grip, and that's where the field will move back up to the top eventually. But it's been stuck to the bottom for this entire race for these K&N drivers.
Hearing from Derek that the 30 car of Spencer Davis actually put the original set of tires back on his race car during that second break, Landon. Car was so loose that they just thought we gotta go back to the regular tires. Yeah, they have 50 more laps than anybody else, but that is a tuning adjustment on that car.
that's not a horrible idea because those tires have been setting and they've cooled off completely. And the crew chief probably looked at 2 sets of tires and said, hey, one of them has 50 laps on it and they're hot. The other one has 50 laps on it and they're nice and cool. And I like those tires better anyways.
And I mean, you've been in the situation before where
you got nothing else to do.
That's right. Let's make this change because it is an option for us. Yep. There's Kraus and Garrett still battling for the top 5 there. Now they're actually out of the top 5 now. Kraus has slipped back to 6th. And Garrett, we mentioned him at the beginning of the broadcast, in the points right now, and really with a great opportunity to get the championship for Sam Hunt Racing this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's going to be a good title chase for him. And you want to feel like running top 5, running 5th or 6th is going to be a good day for you. But man, when Sam Mayer is just stomping the field like he is right now and 8 laps to go, 6th is not going to be a good finish for him. He's going to need more.
That's right. Nice association this year with Rhett Jones Racing, the 18 has, so a little more help coming that direction. Good opportunity for Garrett. Here's McReynolds. Great opportunity for him. Will not run the entire season in the K&N Pro Series East. Has some ARCA plans as well, but glad to see Brandon whenever we can.
You know, the clouds are kind of covering the racetrack a little bit more right now than it was earlier today, and it's probably tightening up the racetrack based on what I usually feel here. And I see the 2nd and 3rd place drivers, Chase Cabry and Brandon McReynolds, 2 cars that struggled with loose race cars all weekend long. Now they're 2nd and 3rd. I can't help but to think that the track tightening up can help them out, and that's playing a factor in this.
Working lap 145, counting down for Sam Mayer. He's had a handle on the field all day long. I'm not even sure a late caution would upset him because on those restarts, Landon, he's been awesome.
He's been so good on restarts, but I don't know if I'd want to take a chance. Remember the last restart we saw, he had to hold off Chase a little bit with some contact, and I would imagine that if it was going for the win on a green-white checkered, it might be even more so.
That's Chase Cabry we're talking about in 2nd, still in the 4, but nowhere near leader Sam Mayer.
Drew Dollar solid in 4th place right now.
Yeah, good run for him. Was involved in the opening lap melee, but not enough damage to ruin his day.
Probably only took him about 20 laps to catch his breath after barely missing a wreck like that.
You been there?
Yes.
Mason Diaz trying to stay ahead of leader Mayer now in that white 24 car. And Sam is just clicking him off here. 2 to go this time by.
Over a straightaway lead. He can coast it in. Stay off the brake pedal. Try to, at this point, maybe you're feeling some vibrations or something, but he just needs to keep hooking the bottom for one more lap.
There it is, the white flag now for Sam Mayer. One more time around for him. 15 years old on the streets. Only has a learner's permit. Today on the racetrack, he's been teaching the field how to do it. Sam Mayer will go to victory lane at Bristol. And there's Chase Cabry, ties his career best by finishing 2nd, but wanted so much more today. The 4 car obviously very good today.
Brandon McReynolds has got to be happy with that after starting 11th. He really had to work for that one, grounded out. But Sam Mayer, what a dominating performance.
Kept it in line all day long. Precision, perfection. We'll talk to Sam Mayer when we come back to Bristol. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems. Because everyone loves that fast car smell. Smells even better at the last great Coliseum. The Zombie Auto 150 is in the books for 2019. By the way, the series is back here in August. Twice this year, Landon, they get to come to Bristol.
Hey, I could race at Bristol every weekend if you let me.
I've heard that from a lot of drivers. There's a driver who's probably going to feel the same way now that he's experienced it in a late model and now in the K&N Pro Series to victory lane. Derek is with Sam and the team.
Well, he was the fastest in practice yesterday, puts it on the pole with a brand new track record, and basically goes out and blisters the field. It isn't often that you have a car this good. How much fun was it to take advantage of it?
Oh my gosh, man. Like, this track's just a blast. Thunder Valley, I mean, coming out here and having a heck of a run like that means a lot, and I just got to thank everyone at GMS Racing, Marty Lindley, the crew chief, and everyone else who helps me.
The car was flawless basically all day today. Was there any part of the race that had you stressed out at all?
The restarts, the last one especially, when the 4 got into my left rear a little bit, we cleared them right away though, so I really, no anxiety at all. Just so stoked to heavily find this first win.
Your first win, national television, a huge NASCAR stage. This has got to be pretty much the biggest win of your career, isn't it?
I gotta say so, yeah. I mean, everyone that helped me, I mean, my dad and Marty Lindley, I mean, Chevrolet, everyone that helped me, I mean, I gotta thank them, and because, man, this is awesome.
Sam Mayer, Marty Lindley, GMS Racing, they're in Victory Lane this afternoon at Bristol.
And you just know that he's got the speed, and that might be the confidence booster that he needs to take through these next few races.
Spencer Davis made it back to the top 5. Kraus, Garrett, Diaz, and Lassard ended up 9th today, and you see at the back of the field there, Bristol took its toll on a number of drivers, but not on Chase Cabry. He came home 2nd, Derek.
Well, Chase Cabry has a really strong run in the number 4 today, comes home with a podium finish, but was the 21 just too strong?
Yeah, I really thought at the beginning that I had the pace to run with him. You know, he kind of got away from me on the short run, and then over the course of 20 laps or so, I felt like I could reel him down a little bit in that, like I said, in that first stage, and then even a little bit in the second stage. And then there at the third stage, he really set a really good pace, and I just couldn't match that pace. I got too tight. It's like when the sun started to set, it just, I got too tight, and it just kind of nipped us in the butt right there. But overall, a really good day. Come out of Bristol 2nd. It's by far the strongest effort that we've ever had here. So really glad that we came home with the top 5, and we'll just keep plugging away, and hopefully at the end of the year come home with a championship.
In the last break, you stayed out like everyone else in the top 5 did. I heard you on the radio. You said it was too tight to run the bottom and too loose to run up top. How did you have to change your driving style to compensate to finish 2nd?
It was a lot of Blano switches. It was so hard. The lap traffic was really hard to get around today because the PJ1 was just so fast. To go to the top and drive around him, you had to carry so much speed, and to do that, I just got too free to do it. So there's times where I'd get caught up behind lap cars, lap on lap on lap, and it hurt us there. And just need to do a better job getting through lap traffic overall to be better here. So, but I think we got a good solid piece to come here later in the year, and we'll work on a little bit and hopefully come out on top.
Good solid piece and a good points day for Chase Cabry.
Big improvements over there at Rev Racing. Cutting down to 2 teams helps out a lot, and I think Doug Howe doing the setups and crew chiefing that 4-car really is bringing him to the next level.
Chase is now just 18 points out of the championship with that finish. You can see Sam Mayer extending his lead with a win here today. Derek is standing by with the 3rd place driver.
Well, Victory Lane ceremonies are going on behind us. Brandon McReynolds comes home 3rd in the number 74 machine. And looking back through the race, do you think there's anything you could have done different to get a better finish?
Yeah, we really struggled after qualifying yesterday. We just were really slow, just couldn't get a good handle with these general tires. But Bruce Cook and our guys and gals worked really hard on the Circle, Northwell Health, Riker Group, Chevrolet. I told my car owner John I'd get that right, so appreciate all our partners coming on. But it was a good race. It was just clean air was key, and especially with everyone right on the bottom. Whenever you move up, you just get really, really free. So we need to be a little better firing off, but our long run speed, I was really proud of that, and I felt like I did a good job driving the car today. Just need to work on a few things back at the shop, and really looking forward to the races that we got coming up.
You said balance was key earlier in the day today. During the course of the race, what changes did you guys make to the car, and how did you change your driving to get that balance back?
Yeah, really the biggest thing, I talked to Corey LaJoy, my good buddy, after he got done with cup practice, and he kept telling me just wait on the gas, and it's hard to do with these little motors in the K&N car. So that helped me really exit really strong, and especially for our long run. But we had to snug our car up a lot at lap 50, especially with how loose we were on landing, and I knew we'd pay in the long run for that, but it was just a matter of restarts and clean air at the end. So it was a good run for us, and just proud to be in the top 3. It would be nice to come to Victory Lane and be holding the trophy, though, so it was good.
Podium finish for Brandon McReynolds.
Yeah, waiting on the gas, that's good advice. You just got to let the car finish the corner and keep it on that traction compound. Brandon's a solid guy. He did a good job.
There's a next race in the Touring Series on NBCSN, a doubleheader from South Boston. You won't want to miss that. You certainly didn't want to miss what was happening today at Bristol. Always a lot of action here, and it began on lap 1. The completion of that lap, things got a little crazy. and a few drivers very disappointed with their day. And then it was really a matter of finding that grip and hanging on to it, Landon.
Yeah, just keeping it on the bottom all day long. Didn't really move up, as we heard Brandon McReynolds just now. The bottom was king, and Sam Mayer stayed there all day.
He's 15 years old, but a wealth of experience, and now a Victory Lane trophy and photo from Bristol Motor Speedway. Sam Mayer wins.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.